You're so dark. He's like, you're so dark, you know, like I thought that you were a robber, you know, I thought that you were coming to rob the house. I was like, what do you mean by that? He's like, yeah, I thought you were going to rob the house because, you know, you're so dark and I can't see you. I thought you were wearing a mask. I have a gun. I have a gun in my room, you know, so that if anybody tries to rob the house, I'm ready, you know. Bro, how do I want to start this story time, bro? I'm not even going to lie. This story time, bro. In fact, I'm angry right now. Telling this story right now makes me so angry because, bro, it didn't even have to happen. You know, it didn't even have to happen. I could have. This is a situation that if I had some guidance going into college, you know, I could have avoided this mistake. But then it's crazy because it was COVID and there was just a lot going on. But anyways, you guys, this is a story time on how I got robbed. This is a story time on how your boy got robbed. I got robbed, you know, during COVID, bro. I got robbed during COVID. And like, before I even get too deep, it's just one of them ones where like, it wasn't even my fault. Like sometimes, you know, I just find myself in these predicaments where it's like, I could just be on my own, living my life, not doing the most, not doing much. But at the same time, something bad happens, you know. Maybe now things have calmed down because like now I'm a more serious young man, you know. However though, there was a point in my life where there was always something going on. It was either I was the reason or someone else was the reason. One of them ones, you know. However though, before we even get into this story time, like this video. Do not waste, just like the video. Like it, please, and thank you. It goes a long way. Subscribe. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. Why 100,000? Let me even zoom in and say that. Why 100K? I just think if I'm being real, I just think the YouTube black is cool. I just think it's cool, and as you can see, if you can't see, I've been chasing this thing for a while. So just subscribe, it does help a lot. Thank you. Let me just tell you guys what was going on at the time. This was during COVID, you feel me? During COVID, it was a tough time. Anybody, yo, if you were born in 2020, you're not going to relate to this video. However though, if you were in high school during COVID, which I was in, or if you were in uni, you know that was a tough time for everybody. You feel me? Some people had to stay at home. Some people had to leave their apartments. Me personally, I was staying with an auntie. You feel me? But the thing about staying with that auntie was, she was cool, you know, she was cool, but she was a bit too strict. You feel me? Like, you know, all them Nigerian aunties, you know, or if you're not Nigerian, let me tell you what it's like having like a Nigerian mom. They shout a lot. They shout all the time. And it gets very, very annoying and frustrating. Imagine you just calling your babe. You're calling, and I had a girlfriend at the time. You're calling your babe, you're like, hey babe, you know, how you doing? I miss you, blah, 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 blah. And mind you know, I'll call my girl at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And next thing you know, I'm hearing, Dayo, shut up! Shush! Do not take calls! Don't talk to anybody! Don't call! And I'm just like, oh my god, bro. I'm just like, bro. During COVID, I lived with an auntie like that. And eventually, I was like, you know what? I am going to move out. I'm going to become a man. And I'm going to start paying my own bills. Because I'm not going to have no auntie telling me what to do. You know, I'm a grown-ass man. I was what? I was 20 at the time. I'm a grown-ass man. And no auntie is going to tell me what to do. That was the mindset that I was on. I was like, no, you know, I'm done with this. You know, however though, as much as I grew because of that, I will say that like, it's good to save money. Like if you can stay home, bro, because bruh, being an adult and living by yourself, billion. It's so expensive, bro. But anyways, let's get into it. During the summertime, I lived in a house with some people that I went to high school with. We all went to the same university. It was cool. But then there was beef, you know, I was having beef. It's not easy living with girls. So like the setup was it was me, 2 guys and 2 girls. You know, so it was 5 of us. It's not easy living with women. I don't live with women anymore. It's tough, you know, we are 2 different people, you feel me? After that experience living with them, I ended up moving out and living somewhere else. Now, I'm going to tell you the characteristics of my housemates in this second house that I lived in, because it was different, you know. This was my first time. Mind you guys, you know, I'm Nigerian. You guys already know. Shout out big Nigeria. You already know Nigeria, best African country out there. But anyways, I end up staying, you know, I end up moving to this new place. You know, I moved to the new place and it's nice. It's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. So like I said, the people that lived in the house. So it was me, a white woman, you know, I was 20, I think she was 22, and a guy that only spoke French. We lived downstairs, and upstairs it was another guy that only spoke French and one white guy that just got out of prison. Mind you, keep in mind that this guy just got out of prison, so you know, you already know where the story is going. You know, the white girl was cool, you know, like she was cool, you know, she had a lot of sex, bro. Like she was fucking a lot. She was fucking a lot, bro. Like she had this one guy that she was fucking, you know. I had my girlfriend. Mind you, this was like the one relationship where I was fully in love, you know, like. So I had my girlfriend, you know, she would come over, and then, you know, French guy was just doing his masters or whatever, and then upstairs we had the other French guy that was doing his masters, and we had this ex-convicts that just got out of jail. Pay attention to what in fact, forget all the other characters. Let's pay attention to this ex-convict, and let me tell you when I should have known that this guy was going to be an issue in my life. When it comes to like race and things like that, I fuck with everybody. I'm cool with everybody. Cross my heart, I swear. On my mom's first son, which is me, I promise you, I'm cool with everybody. But you know, you get into life and like, when you get into the real world, you're going to realize that not everybody thinks the way you do. Some people might look at you and they're like, oh, he's a monkey. Deadass. They might look at you and be like, he's a monkey. So, you know, there was this one night, I walked in the house, you know, I just got food, you know, I was hungry. I think I got some Wendy's. And then this guy is like, yo, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, yo, it's just me, you know, I was just grabbing some Wendy's. And he's like, oh, you know, you're so dark. He's like, you're so dark, you know, like I thought that you were a robber, you know, I thought that you were coming to rob the house. I was like, what do you mean by that? He's like, yeah, I thought you were going to rob the house because, you know, you're so dark and I can't see you. I thought you were wearing a mask. I have a gun in my room, you know, so that if anybody tries to rob the house, I'm ready, you know. You guys, there was a gun in, bro, dude, I lived with in the same house as someone that had a gun. A white man that had a gun, bro. Listen. I'm cool with everybody, but then that shit scared me. In my mind, I'm like, why? I told him, like, bro, why do you have a gun? And he's like, yeah, like he has ops. I'm like, you have ops? He's like, yeah, he has ops. And like sometimes, like he just got out of jail, and like, you know, he's like trying to protect himself, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay. I called my mom. I'm like, yo, mom. My dad was still alive at the time. I said, yo, dad, yo, this guy has a gun. My parents were like, leave. But you know me, you know, I'm like, yo, it's okay, I'll be fine. You guys, back then rent was like $450 a month, you know. My room was kind of big, you know, it was cool. My girlfriend at the time was, she was cool. She didn't mind it, you know. Like my life back then it was chill. It was relatively chill. So I was like, nah, you know what? I'm going to ignore it. Stupid rookie mistake, you guys. Rookie mistake. There was this one day I went to work, and this is the story of how I got robbed. Like, this is the moment that I got robbed. So if you've made it this far, shout out to you. You're about to know what happened. So basically, what happened was I went to work, you guys. I went to work, and I had a bike at the time. So I'd ride my bike, and like it was cool. There was this one day I was just riding my bike around, and I saw these two guys. They were just coming to the house to hang out with the white guy. Mind you, they hung out with the white guy every now and then. So in my mind, I'm like, yo, these guys are cool. These guys are okay guys. I've seen them around, and it's whatever. Like, I wasn't really thinking of anything. So I went to work, and I got back home. You guys, when I got back home, when I see everything in the living room was gone, bro, everything in the fucking living room was gone. I live in Hamilton, Ontario, bro. And there's something about this city. Like, if you have a bike, chances are they're going to steal your bike. They are going to steal your bike. I kid you not. So I'm just like, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to leave my bike inside the house so that no one steals it. You guys, they stole my bike. They stole my bike. They stole the TV. They stole laptops. They stole lamps. Bro, they stole couches. Fam, I was like, and you know what came to my mind? I was like, how did these guys have so much time to steal all of this shit? How did they steal all of this? Because I worked 5-hour shifts. So within 5 hours, they stole everything. And I'm like, how were they able to steal so much? Mind you, the white guy lived upstairs and I lived downstairs, So like, they didn't really rob downstairs because they didn't rob downstairs because they knew that other people, like, I'm not their op, I have no ops, And if you think, if someone out there is like, Dario is my op, listen, I'm not your op. I am not your op. I live a very peaceful life. I chill with my family, I chill with my friends, and I chill by myself, and I work. That's all. I have no ops in Jesus' name. They stole a lot of stuff, and I will say, they didn't steal this. You guys, one day I'm going to tell you guys a story of how I got my laptop. This laptop is like my baby, and yeah. But anyways, you guys, they end up stealing everything, and I'm just like, damn, bro. And then the guy's like, yeah, I get back from work, I'm like, where's my bag? Where's everything upstairs? And the guy's like, oh, those guys, they came and they stole all the shit, blah blah blah, and he's angry. And I'm just like, yo. I'm just like, yo, you have ops. And he's like, yeah, I have ops, and they stole everything. But he's like, don't worry, I'm going to shoot them, blah blah blah. I was like, oh my god, bro. I'm like, bro. The guy didn't pay me for my bike, nothing. I called my landlord. She said, that's tough. My landlord said that is tough. Imagine my shock, bro. And at that time, I was only 20 years old. I just got into the world. I knew nothing that was going on. Imagine my shock, bro. She said that's tough. I was like, damn. And he's like, yeah, he's going to shoot them. And I'm just like, bruh. I called my mom and I'm like, because I'm very close to my mom. I said, Mom, I got robbed. My mom said, Dario, leave that house. And I ended up leaving the house, Like, on one hand, that room was good, I paid $450. It wasn't too expensive. And I wanted to live there for my 4 years of college, because like, yo, $450 a month, and I knew the rent was, I knew that eventually rent was going to go up, and I just wanted to stay there for as long as I could. But I got robbed, you guys. I got robbed. Ended up moving out. But mind you, that's the story. That is the story. Like, at the end of the day, At the end of the day is going to end. However though, nah, like bro, listen, it was crazy. Long story short, it was crazy. The fact that I got robbed, bro, at a young age, the ripe age of 20, they robbed everything upstairs and they stole my bag. I was like, bro, why? I was like, why? Me? I ain't do nothing, you know? And yeah, that's the story. That's the story of how I got robbed. And yeah, long story short, moral of the lesson: if you end up living with someone that is an ex-convict, someone that went to jail, I highly recommend you moving out. You know, if not, you might get robbed like me. Don't get robbed. Don't make that stupid mistake, you know, because it's good to have you like, oh god, bro, I'm good to have you like, bro, I'm just happy that they didn't steal my laptop. Next story time I might tell like the story of how I got my laptop, but like, yeah. Anyways, if you made it this far, like, comment, and like, it doesn't make sense to say like, comment, and subscribe, but shout out to you, man. Like, if you made it this far, thank you. You know, you're a real one. You're a real one for that. I appreciate it for real. And like I always say, we're coming through every day with story times, life advice, whatever comes to my mind, I'ma do. And yeah, subscribe, and I'll get back with you guys with another video later, you know? Easy.